Hi, friend. What would the world look like if we were more honest? If we told the truth more readily? Sometimes it might be a little discomforting. You might not want to ask your friend, does this make me look fat? If they're being super honest. But the truth is, in general, living in the light of day is a powerful, life-changing experience. So a few weeks back, we talked about Nicodemus. Nicodemus comes in the dark of night. He's a famous religious leader, and he wanted to protect his reputation. This next person we're going to talk about in John chapter 4, they come to Jesus in the middle of the day, and they come and they bear it all. And they have an incredible experience with God. The woman at the well, you may be familiar. She comes and she's getting water and she meets Jesus in the light of day there. And Jesus is meeting her in a place called Samaria, which he actually had to go out of his way to be there. In Samaria, the people there are people that do not get along with the Jews. Jesus, as a Jewish man, a rabbi, and I did mention already, a man, should not at all be talking to a Samaritan or a woman, or certainly not a sinner in public. But in fact, he goes out of his way to schedule this appointment, if you will. And he speaks to her and he tells her everything about her life. And then she blurts it all out herself. They're both experiencing life in the light of day. He looks at her and he says, "Give me a drink." And she says to him, "I will." And then he responds, "If you knew the gift of God, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life." See, Jesus is willing to cross barriers we will never cross to help people, to change lives, to bring people into relationship with the Father. And so we have to understand his example. Even though he shouldn't be there, he is. Even though he shouldn't have a conversation, he initiates it. And even if he did that, he should have backed off once he realized who the woman was. And he didn't back off. He drew closer. And so we need to see Christ refuses to treat people as disposable. I wonder, friend, if you've ever felt disposable. You've ever felt less than, ignored. And often the way we respond to those feelings is to live in the dark. Some of us live in the dark by turning to alcohol or drugs. Some of us live in the dark by not sharing with anyone about anything. Some of us live in the dark, literally. We just stay in our homes and avoid contact with others. All of these are actually life-destroying behaviors. They're a way of avoiding pain, but they create an entirely different pain. They bring into us a starvation because we're created for community. We're created for relationship with God. We're also created for honesty, even when it's hard. So, sin exposes us. It actually exposes how thirsty we are for living water. We just don't always know where to go to find it. Jesus offers living water. Jesus says, "The one you talk about, I am he. The one you are seeking, I am it. If you want living water, find it in me." The woman's at the well in the middle of the day because she's avoiding the crowds. She instead finds the Messiah there. And he tells her all the stories of her life, all the sins. And she admits to him, and she begins to experience new life. She drinks of new water. She begins to learn what it is to not be thirsty. And the path forward for her was honesty, brutal self-honesty. It's real easy to take the inventory of others. It's much harder to share the inventory of our own lives. But this woman did it, and it changed her life. I've been through the same process, and it changed mine. God's grace is found when we get honest with him and ourselves. And the reality is we can look for satisfaction all over the world, but only Christ will satisfy us. Only Christ can change the way we perceive the world and ourselves. Only Christ can give us living water that will nourish us every day. Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but if you drink of the living water, you shall never thirst. It's an amazing promise. And what he means there is you won't be spiritually dry again. You'll know where to go to find the nourishment you need, the water you need to survive. Jesus gives us living water. It's the Spirit's work. It's at work in our heart. It changes us, and it becomes a spring that does not run out. And he reframes what it is even to worship. He talks about worshiping him in spirit and in truth. You can't worship in truth unless you're being honest with yourself. Most people don't realize how dishonest they are to themselves. We're often more honest with other people than we are with ourselves. And so we need to remember that. So I would ask you, friend, what are you drinking from right now? Are you drinking from the gushing water of social media? Are you drinking from too much video games? Are you drinking too much alcoholic beverages? Wherever you're finding consolation that's not in God, it will never satisfy. But he offers you living water. He offers you himself in Jesus Christ. In Jesus, God is not standing outside of the room yelling at us. He's come into the room and he's brought light. He's brought water that we can be refreshed. Friend, I hope to see you around. God bless you.